Wow, that's hard to follow. Follow it. Yeah, a quick thank you to the hard-working hotel staff who, in appalling conditions, arranged for the sun to come out. Strange for the sun to shine brightly in here, working so hard and very, very efficiently. I'm amazed. You're almost up to Canadian standards. Keep working on it. And at this point, before I forget, because I am going to forget because my speech is 40 minutes, or is it 14 minutes? A toast to the bridesmaids. A toast to the bridesmaids and the little flower girl. And bridesmaid Alice did a wonderful job. Especially the redoubtable Father David came to the legalities we had to deal with, witnessing that. And remember, to those of us, most of us who are staying over in Ballycotton, what happens in Ballycotton? Joining with me in regretting that I couldn't give can't of course now give the uncensored version of my speech, being that there's so many sensitive people and young people in the audience. However, there is a PowerPoint presentation later, Shane, in room 115. And today, excuse me for the in-jokes here, the people who watch Game of Thrones might get them. So today I'm privileged to be the best man, or maester, as we join House Brosnan Burke. The small council gives full approval, and the mother blesses this day, and the father. So we, as I said before, we welcome Clodagh reservedly to the Brosnan family. Brosnan clan, as I'm sure she welcomes Frank, into the Burkes, indeed into our extended families. And sure, the senior members are not around here, but I'm sure they're looking fondly down on us and happy with the choices we made. You can't do much about it anyway, but hopefully they gave us enough information to go on. So anyway, gifts. So thank you all for the gifts, copious gifts, more than I can handily manage or spend in one day. I decided to give them into the hotel staff, who again very efficiently cleared up any worries I had. I put them in envelopes and to be retrieved later. Commission. Thank you all for the gifts. It's much appreciated. Times aren't easy for everyone, so it's good to get the anyway, shout out to people who couldn't be here but who wrote in, and too many to mention really, but I'll mention Emma Horgan, who's stuck in Galway. Yes, daughter of these people here. My own son Joe Brosnan, who said most of the same sentiments, which are congratulations to the happy couple, and can't wait to get a chance to give them big hugs and kisses when they come back. Yeah. And the admin staff sent in a telegram too from, what is it again? Lota. Sorry. It's gone. Lota, and thank you very much, and as Claude already said it more eloquently than I can. And I had a phone call from a guy you might know, Donald Trump. He wants to build a wall around Kerry. At the request of the Kerry people. The dogs out. To keep the Blue Jackets out. And keep the Brosnans in. But he told them it's too late. They escaped this. No, I'm not going to finish that sentence. And real telegrams. And then I have another telegram from another ginger hair, Linda Kinney, who has said the happy couple has received, to his knowledge, so much gifts that they can now pay all the arrears in water charge. Feck off. Yeah, Father Ted reference. So anyway, Francis, dear brother, late arrival, but he got, along with Patrick, got the highest academic achievements, so we got the formula right eventually. And early phobias, I must mention. We grew up, no, it's nothing about split pants. We grew up in a big old Victorian house, Somerton House, with a big dark field at the back and a big high hedge. Grown up as little boys and girls, God knows what was behind the hedge. At night, there was lots of things, and only a miserable little tiny, midget, cowardly dog to prevent it, with a good bark. And a crazy brother, as Francis said, with a dustbin lid and a wooden sword. That was me. But Francis knew exactly what was behind the hedge. It was not just one Dracula, but armies of Draculas coming up the hedge. So I think the world owes us a debt. The Game of Thrones isn't in it. The world owes us a debt for defending the world from this crack in the dimension that was Somerton House, which sadly eventually disappeared into a big hole in the ground. Then, like an amoeba, it came up with 2 new houses. But another anecdote, which is true, and it's hard to believe, but it's true, and the witnesses, unfortunately, one of the witnesses was Francis, who was only 3 months old at the time. The other 2 witnesses are no longer with us, my dear parents. But I was in the room when Francis was a little baby. If you can imagine Francis, I know it's hard, with a nose scrub and in a fetching little white outfit, with his pudgy arms and legs sticking out of the cot. And he's asleep. And I'm in reading comics in the corner, not minding my own business, of course, because we shared the room. And for whatever unknown reason, my late father, Paddy, decided it was time to put up new curtains in the bedroom. And he's up on a chair, because it was an old Victorian very high house. The job isn't going too well. Paddy, God bless him, is a dear man, but he could verbalize a little bit when the job wasn't going too well. So pretty soon some, well, I'm glad to say, at least there were holy curses stuck in Jesus. And he had to get off the chair, I think, to really go at it. And he stops after a while, he's worn out. And little do you know, Francis starts clenching his tiny little fingers, still sleeping, I think, starts saying, and that had the good effect of kind of calming down Dan. We laughed until Ma, who was never far away, came racing up the stairs and in, and she looked at me, "You out!" And the door shut, and she, even though poor old Francis managed to sleep through the whole thing, she said, "That's a fine example for the young child." But it served us well. For myself, whenever I'm fixing a bicycle, it doesn't take long for the swear words to come. But if I might fast forward, as I say, Francis was so heavily into the academics. There was no time for any smutty stories. And my unfortunately, a total failure of my security agents, Jag and Matty, failed to dig up any information from us. We can fast forward to the nice part of the whole thing, and that I feel a little old-fashioned in that we met at a disco. Another split pen. And okay, that's it, that's done. And you met on the internet, and you had your first date, traditionally enough, mind you, on the Lee Fields.
Yes, with the dogs.
Yes, with the dogs, and that's amazing that Clodagh. Well, I mean, mind you, the Lee Fields, anyone who knows it is it's full of, especially when the light goes down, it's full of frisky Cork men. So Clodagh wisely brought along her security feature, the savage Doberman, Susie, and Jilly. And Francis was so impressed with her calming them down that he didn't want to try anything. Anyway, obviously he did, perhaps did try things later on, because one thing led to another, not far away across the bay in Garryvoe. He proposed to Clodagh, very romantic. Clodagh said yes, which was a lucky thing because the time was coming in. Which, of course, no pressure on Clodagh. Very I told you he was one of the sensible ones. But he had a wetsuit on underneath. So, you know, in case she said no, he was ready for a quick getaway to the land of the Brexit people.
That's me.
Don't worry, no.
Oh, anyway, yeah, okay. Before I forget, a couple of quick one-liners from American comedians. Advice to newlyweds: never go to bed angry. Always stay up and fight it out. That's from Phil Stiller. And another one which kind of links, maybe Ricky can talk to Francis, because every woman loves a guy with pierced ears. One thing, he's experienced pain. Secondly, he knows how to buy jewelry. Just in closing, you'll be glad to hear. So now, I'm not going to recite this, but I don't trust myself. A beautiful story that came out again. Pardon?
You're meant to go on.
Keep going in there. No.
It's your son's birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, He's a Mercury. You will see this guy because he's performing and he's flying overhead mostly. He'll try to drop off. He's flying overhead to European tours and whatnot, so maybe you'll see him. Joseph. But anyway, great little story linking our two families in the sense that there's a little book of poetry book called The Rubaiyat, which was, as Claude and I discovered, I don't know how it came up, but Claude and I discovered her late friend Michael had gotten a copy of this, which was by a wife of a guy who carried it around in his uniform in the First World War. I love the, the real old books where they're little pocket book editions. So he carried around, obviously it meant a lot to him, that was all that was standing between him and the bullets. And bring it right up to date, if you like, Back to the Future, if you like. 36 years ago, my own father, Paddy, recited a surprise and delighted me by reciting a little bit of this poem at my own wedding, which was apropos. So the poem, honestly, is quite a philosophical work, but I did dig out this gem, which I would close with, which is very apropos. That's from the Rubaiyat. Our love, could thou and I with fate conspire to grasp this sorry scheme of things entire, would not we shatter it to bits and remold it nearer to our heart's desire? And that's what's happening here today.
No.
So, I guess that's me dried up. Pardon? Ready to go to the cutting of the cake.
You have to let give people a chance to calculate who won their bets.
Well done, very good. I don't know, I felt bad taking it. It's too late.
You just lost me.
Well done there. Good job. I'm watching halfway to France, unfortunately.